Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm going to be comparing the previous edition from Days of Wonder of Cleopatra and the Society of Architects with the new Mojito Studios edition of the same game, Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. Now, what we are looking at here is going to be the premium edition of the game, okay? That means it has the metal coins, the fancy scoring tokens that look like scarabs, and it's going to be have the magnets in it, and it's going to be fully painted, okay? So this edition is very expensive, and I want to put that out there. I want to make that clear out front, okay? Because while I will be showing you this, you can just get the retail one, scale back a couple of things. It will not be as insanely expensive, but you're still getting all of the same mechanisms. And that's where I'll be showing you how amazing it looks, all of those things, but I also want to use this comparison to show you how the designers have taken the years that have passed between these two editions and tweaked the gameplay, changed up how this is going to play out so that you can see if this is something perhaps you want to pursue, if you already have the previous one, and if not, well, hopefully between this and a review of the game, you'll be able to decide if it's something you want to pick up for yourself, okay? So this is the previous edition. This over here will be the new edition. In the original one, as you went to the quarry, you would draw cards. Some were face up, some were face down, and that was set up at the beginning. It was half the deck face up, so that you could see what you were drafting. The other half face down. The new rules say only a third will be face down. So there is more open information in the new one, okay? That's a minor rule change, but it is a rule change. In the previous edition, after you went to the quarry, you would go to the quarry, by the way, you would build whatever you wanted to build. Everything would have its cost, like in the new one, though there are differences there. And the more things you built, the more coins you would get. You'd just get a bonus for building multiple things. That is no longer true. That's compensated elsewhere down here, okay? And then after you did that, no matter how many things you built, you would roll these dice. Sometimes you would get them all blank, and that's fine. You just put them aside. Any onks that you rolled, however, we would lock on this tile here. And as soon as all 5 of them showed an onk, if ever, then we would have an offering to the gods, at which point everyone would bid some of their victory points to attempt to get rid of some corruption. That might happen once in the game. It might happen twice in the game. It might not happen at all, right? That ability to get rid of that corruption was important. If you did not want corruption in the game. And you were not sure when it would happen. In the new game, you do know when it happens. It happens one time when Cleopatra goes from the 3rd step here to the 4th step. Right there, that line denotes, hey, we have an offering to the gods right then and there, and we do it once in the game, right at that point. So that's a difference, and they've removed this mechanism. It's more predictable now. It's a little more straightforward, okay? Still has the same effect of giving up your victory points to bring down your corruption. The other big change, well, this is a small change. You used to start with 3 joker tiles that you could spend for a missing resource. If you never did, they were 3 points. They got rid of these. That's a minor change. Big change, okay? This deck of cards has artisans, has different goods, such as a marble slab or a wooden log, but it also has characters that you could, whose powers you could pursue, right? So there's a scribe. You could get the scribe's help for a little bit of corruption. And there would be all sorts of things. Here's a smuggler who could assist you. And all of those special abilities, all of these special characters that are in the deck for this one are entirely removed from the new one. This deck is made up entirely of goods, such as stone or marble and wood and oh, that's a stone one. All of those things, and then artisans themselves. Okay, there's also corrupt goods in here which help you along, such as this one, which is one of anything, but it is corrupt. So when you use it, you're going to take some corruption. But all of the characters are gone, and they've been moved down to a secondary mechanism down here. Now, I do want to mention the one area that I can definitively say the new edition is worse than the previous edition is the card quality. The card quality for these original cards is fantastic. They have great linen finish. They are nice and thick. They are sturdy, shuffle extremely well. The new ones are thinner than I would like. They are still linen finished. They are not showing wear, but they are extremely thin. And they are just a little too floppy for my taste, okay? So they're just very floppy, very bendy, and it's probably the kind of deck of cards you're going to want to sleeve, if not necessarily for protection, for rigidity to these cards, so to make shuffling a little bit better, okay? But let's go ahead and get back on mechanisms over here, because now, like I said, those characters are no longer in the deck. There's now these 5 characters that show up on a track. The market, by the way, builds down here in these 3 spots. It's where the market's going to build. But at the beginning of every round, no matter whether you're going to the market or to the quarry, you are allowed to appeal to one of these shady characters in Egypt. To do that, you take or give up whatever it shows right below them. For example, this first one, if you want to appeal to them, it's going to cost you 3 points, or 3 scarabs in this game. The others all give you corruption. 1, 2, 2, and 3 corruption. You will do whatever they say. For example, let's say I want to hire this person. I'm going to be able to build at the quarry this round with 2 fewer artisans. And then once I'm done, it goes to the back of the line and everybody shifts up. If you ever use the character at the back of the line, well, it simply stays at the back of the line. And so you have access to these special characters not just when they come up in the deck, but all of the time. And you can decide for yourself, well, can I handle a little more corruption for the bonus I am going to be making, right? That's a decision that's up to you, but you have that choice and that decision to make every single round. I think this mechanism here is fantastic. The other big difference in the game is the way that building at the quarry works. Okay, this is the original player aid right here. It's double-sided, has a lot of information on it, which is wonderful. It's very nice to have. The new one is much more straightforward than that, and it does not give you a breakdown of the entire game, much like this one does, but it gets across the relevant information about how to build at the quarry. Here's the thing, okay? Some of the scoring has changed based on the different things and how you scored them as you built them, but also what they cost to build has changed in a very fundamental way. Previously, for example, to build a column walls, it would be 1 artisan and 1 wood and 1 stone resource. Now, to build the walls, it is 1 artisan and 2 different things. The game no longer cares what they are. They just have to be different, okay? For example, we're going to take a look here at the obelisk. The obelisk is going to cost you 3 artisans, 2 wood, 2 stone in the original game. In the new one, the obelisk is going to cost you 3 artisans and 4 of the same thing. Again, the game doesn't care what it is, which makes the building not just a lot simpler to remember, but much more flexible. If I'm getting close to 4 wood, then that can be my path towards an obelisk. If I instead have literally no wood at all, but I'm getting close on stone, then that'll be my path to an obelisk. So this makes it a lot more flexible, a lot easier to internalize, to comprehend. You can take a glimpse at this and you know exactly what it is that you need to be doing in order to achieve the build of that various thing, right? Another thing to take a look at is, again, the scoring, which has changed a little bit for some of the things. So, for example, all right, the throne room over here, or the throne and pedestal, I should say, used to be, you would get 12 talents, which was the victory points, for building that. Now you are going to get 10 plus 2 per mosaic around the throne. Okay, that's a minor change, but it is a change. The sphinxes and the obelisks, I want to focus on those for the scoring. Used to be, you'd have to build these sphinxes in order right here. You'd put this one, has a little 1 next to it, so 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. You had to build them in that order. And you would get 2 talents for the first one of the pair, and 5 talents for the second, right? So building this one's 2, building this one is 5. Now, the way it works is you are going to get 3 for it, plus 1 for each one on its side of the palace. So the scoring has changed to now make it concern itself with what side you build on. If I build this one, or this one, or this one, it doesn't really matter where I put it, that's 3. When someone built another one on the same side, they'll get 3 plus the 1, so they'll get 4, and 5 for the last one. The obelisk, very much the same thing. Used to be, it was 12 talents. That was it. Well, now an obelisk is 10, plus 2 per sphinx on the same side, which again matters where you build these things. Overall, a few other things have changed, okay? There are new, very much integral changes, such as, well, the game now plays 2 to 4 instead of 3 to 6, as it was originally listed. The best play count was generally 3. There was just to sort of kept the pace up, and this is not something I would have recommended with 5 in the original edition, so that number's gone, not a big deal. 2-player now is very, very nice. It really works very well, the 2-player count, so that's cool. I'm glad that that's a part of it now. They've changed the corruption at the end of the game. Used to be at the very end of the game, you would, if you had the most corruption after giving up any you were allowed to give up for having sanctuaries up in the gardens, if you had the most, you would be eliminated from the game. You could not win. They've changed that rule now, which is simply has turned it into a penalty. So you are going to, for having more than other people, you will lose victory points. Yes, if you have a lot more than other people, say like 8 more than anybody else, then yes, you're still eliminated, because it really wouldn't matter at that point. But it's just a penalty in the victory points, the talents, if you would, which is nice. It's a little bit friendlier. It allows you to stay in the game, maybe take some risks that you perhaps wouldn't take if the rule was you die if you have the most, right? But again, like I said, there's a few other things I'm not even touching on, but ultimately I wanted to just show you these two side by side so that you could see Not just the different components, the new one being gorgeous, the old one being still gorgeous. Not just the new production quality, all of those things, but the new mechanisms, the evolution of a fantastic game from a few years ago to what it is now, okay? So hopefully you find the video useful. Hopefully you find it to be something that you can utilize as a part of your research into whether Cleopatra and the Society of Architects here from Mojito Games is something that perhaps you want to look into yourself. So there you go. Feel free in the comments of the video to post any questions you might have about the product, the comparison between the two, and I'll be happy to answer those. As far as an actual full review of the game, well, stay tuned for that. That'll be coming to the Dice Tower very soon. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for checking this out with me. My name is Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.